Hi folks, I just thought I'd give you a quick garden tour to give you a bit of context about the space that we're growing in, show you some of the things that we've done already and talk a little bit about some of the ideas that I have kind of over the next year, 2 years for the space that we're in. So I'll flip this around and I'll show you where we are. So this is our front garden. But as you can see from the laundry on a rainy day, this is a space that we use like most people would use their back gardens. And we're a corner plot, so our garden wraps around on 3 sides of the house there. But like I say, the hedge is so big, green bin waiting to go out, our hedge is so big that we have a lot of privacy, so we do get to enjoy the space the way that most people enjoy their back gardens. So on a hot sunny day, we'd have a paddling pool out here for the girls and that sort of thing. So this garden is probably going to be one of the last, or this part of the garden is going to be the last places that we're going to be working on. But so far we have got a couple of trees in. This one is a cherry tree. And the one over here, which I really need to cut back the grass around it, this is a hazel, which got a bit too dry in the dry spell earlier in spring. But it seems to be, it's starting to bounce back now, which is great. And then kids bits and a few pots and things, but not too much going on in this section of the garden. Like I say, that's for very much another year. Hopefully a patio there and a big flower border going along here, maybe with some globe artichokes in the middle. That's my plan. That would be lovely. This section we have been working on. The car's not normally on the driveway, but we're in lockdown, so you know, we've got nowhere to go really. But yeah, so this bed I started on it in autumn and just kind of covered it with cardboard and weighed it down with bricks and started working on it with the no-dig method, and then put a curve on it and put out lots of flowers that we have sown from seed ourselves. And a few weeds, which I'll be pulling out, and I've got some more seedlings of herbs that are going to go into that corner. At the back we've got some edible peas which are beginning to climb up the trellis that I've just strung across with some nails on the fence. Partly because when I was beginning to plant things out in lockdown there wasn't much that you could buy at the time, so it was very much a case of just being resourceful and making do with what you've got, and I have a lot of string. So it just seems really lush and jungle-like at the moment. It's amazing how in the space of just a few weeks this has transformed from very small seedlings into just this wonderful sort of lush, bushy jungle. Really loving it. And from time to time you are going to hear Kira bark. She's a dog, that's going to happen, so apologies for that. So walking across to the other side, I've got another flower border here that I'm probably a bit less proud of because it's got a few weeds in it, it needs edging, but it's essentially the same sort of idea as the other one. Bear with me a second whilst I call Kira away. Kira, here, come on, good girl. So, honestly, if I had children with me, it would be a lot more distracting. So yeah, so similar sorts of plants going on in here, and I have got some dog roses which we got from the Woodland Trust. There's a dog rose there, and one here. These are just in their first year with us, they're still quite small and no flowers this year. And there's a hazel tree which was a twig when we got it in the winter, and it's coming on beautifully now. So yeah, this bed is a bit of a work in progress, but I'm just sort of showing you warts and all really. So now I'll take you through into the back garden. As I say, the garden sort of wraps around on 3 sides of us, and quite often we do just have the gate open at the back and we just use the space as one really. But the personality of the back I think is a bit different to the front, in that we are very much trying to turn this into the edible garden space. So we've got the chickens, the greenhouse and some raised beds, a teepee and some pots of soft fruit and some potatoes as well. So again, I'll flip it around and I'll show you what we have. So here's our chickens. Quite often they get to free range, but I haven't let them out yet this morning. They'll probably start queuing at the gate in a little minute. And then our raised beds we've done using a sort of mishmash of different methods. So these are raised beds using a sort of hugelkultur layering and we're using no dig methods in there as well. But you'll also see that we've got grid in there using string, if you can see that through the rain. So I've strung grids in there so that we can use the square foot spacing. The greenhouse, I'm going to do a separate video about the greenhouse because there's a lot kind of going on in there. And this, we've got a jungle of potatoes. I just didn't appreciate how massive they were going to get. They're absolutely huge, so that's a lesson for me for next year. And the teepee, which was very bare for a long time, is now really beginning to grow quite rapidly. And we've got some flowers as well. Oh wow. Okay, that barking's not my dog. There's an awful lot of dogs in the neighbourhood. We've got some potted carrots at the back. A few very sorry looking tomatoes that need my attention. And we've got some very young soft fruit bushes. The blueberries aren't doing anything this year. And we've already had some of the raspberries there as well. Yeah, again, dogs barking, it's that kind of neighbourhood really. And then this side of the garden, this is proper warts and all here. So we've got a patio in slab form, a pile of bricks, all that's just waiting for future projects. And this area here is very much a case of watch this space. I'm about to clear all this out, and that area is going to be made way for a very exciting new project. You'll have to guess what that is until I tell you. And down here is my little collection of saplings, which I'm going to be giving to Brimwood Farm. So Brimwood Farm is a kind of like farm project which is part market garden, or will be when Jeff and Sal get up there, and also conservation kind of projects. So these are going to hopefully be couriered down to them at some point when they go dormant in the winter, and will be an addition to their growing woodland. If you don't know Brimwood Farm, definitely check them out. There's a few kind of YouTubers that I really appreciate, that I will probably do a separate thing about, because I think it's really good to connect with other people in the kind of growing community. So I'll do something separate about that later, of the people that I follow who have inspired me and made a big difference to some of our decisions for what we're doing in our garden here. So that's kind of everything. Hopefully it gives you a better understanding of where we are and what we're working with. And like I say, it is warts and all, because I don't think I should be hiding the kind of the ugly bits of a garden. You know, everyone's got working sections of a garden. We've all got projects that we have in our heads but haven't been able to get started on yet. And that's very much where we are. We're still very much at the beginning of our journey here. We've got a start with things like the chickens and the greenhouse and so on, but there's an awful lot more potential in this garden, but we can't do it all in one go. So yeah, so that's why I'm doing this YouTube really, so that I can kind of catalogue and diarise everything that we do, and hopefully look back at this journey and see that overall, hopefully we will have come a long way. So there we are. Any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to get in touch with people who are interested in what we're doing here. So please do kind of ask questions, leave comments. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will be doing more in-depth posts on things like the no-dig method, how we look after our chickens, what we're doing with our greenhouse that's different to the rest of the garden, those sorts of things. And if you have anything specific that you would like to know more about, then again, please just let me know. Okay, take care folks.